Take a look at these two words. They look very similar. If you think that these two words come from the same language, then you're absolutely wrong. The first word comes from Odia, which is spoken in modern day Odisha. And this word comes from Sinhalese, which is the official language of Sri Lanka. Do you think it's a mere coincidence that two languages spoken in regions separated by more than 2000 kilometers sound very similar and look very similar? If you think it's a coincidence, then you're wrong again. So let's find out the Odisha connection to Sri Lanka. So to understand this historical connection better, let's start with the Sri Lankan flag. The national flag of Sri Lanka has a lion on it holding a sword. So the lion and the maroon background actually represent the ethnic majority of Sri Lanka, who are the Sinhalese. So the Sinhalese make up 75% of total population of Sri Lanka today. So where did this lion come from, and what connection do the Sinhalese people have with Odisha or Kalinga? So let's find out. So to answer this question, let's travel back in time 2500 years and also travel 2000 kilometers up north all the way to Kalinga. Around 500 BC, there was a prince called Prince Vijaya, who was living in a kingdom called Simhapura, which was ruled by his own father called Sinhabahu. This prince was exiled from his kingdom and he set off from Kalinga with 700 people, travelled all the way across Bay of Bengal and reached Sri Lanka. And there he established the kingdom of Tambapanni. And the modern Sinhalese people trace their roots and origins to this event. They trace their origins to the Prince Vijaya, who arrived from Kalinga. The arrival of Prince Vijaya to Sri Lanka has been clearly depicted in the historical chronicles of Sri Lanka, mainly the Mahavamsa and the Dipavamsa, which are the two most important literary texts of Sri Lanka depicting Sri Lankan history. And this arrival marks the beginning of a historical and a strong relationship between Kalinga and Sri Lanka. The arrival of Prince Vijaya was followed by subsequent migrations from Kalinga, and there is historical evidence that there has been a very strong matrimonial alliances or relationship between the people of Kalinga and the Sinhalese people. For example, around 1000 AD, there was a king called King Vijaya Bahu, who was the founder of the Polonurava kingdom. He actually took a Kalinga princess called Tiloka Sundari as his chief wife. Not just that, we have another example of a king called Mahinda IV. He too took a Kalinga princess as his chief wife. Therefore, the relationship which was established by the arrival of Prince Vijaya to Sri Lanka continued thereafter for more than 1500 to 2000 years, and a strong relationship existed between Kalinga and Sri Lanka for centuries. And by the way, we didn't discuss yet how the lion appeared on the Sri Lankan flag. Let's do that now. If you travel to Odisha today, and if you go around the older settlements of Odisha, you will find a lot of temples actually dedicated to Lord Narasimha. In fact, Odisha itself has more than 100 temples dedicated to Lord Narasimha. And one more interesting fact is that the famous Puri Jagannath temple in Odisha was initially dedicated to Lord Narasimha, and later on it became a temple of Lord Jagannath. That is the reason even today, when the bhog is served in the temple, it is first taken to Lord Narasimha and then it is offered to Lord Jagannath. So these references establish the fact that ancient Kalinga was deeply connected with the worship of a lion in some form or the other. The lion has been deeply present in the cultural space of Kalinga for centuries. That is the very reason the people of Kalinga who migrated from Kalinga to Sri Lanka actually took their culture with them, and that is how a lion appeared on the Sri Lankan flag. That is the very reason the ethnic majority of Sri Lanka today is called Sinhalese. If you take the root word Sin from Sinhalese, which in Sanskrit basically means a lion. If you look at the story, the arrival of Prince Vijaya came from a kingdom called Simhapura. His father's name was Simhabahu, and the descendants of Prince Vijaya are called Sinhalese.